Hi WorldTempus family, thanks for joining us today. We're here in Le Sentier in the Vallée des Joues. Now, that name should already strike a chord with those of you who are familiar with fine watchmaking. The Vallée des Joues is generally acknowledged to be the birthplace of Swiss mechanical, complicated watchmaking, and we're here today to discover some exceptional high complications. Now, if that doesn't get you excited already, here are three more words that will. Bulgari, Octo, Sonnerie. Let's go. If you're watching this video, you probably already know this, but it's always nice to remind ourselves of how established the brand is in terms of creating chiming watches. The first minute repeater of Bulgari was released in 1994, which means that sonneries have been a part of the brand's catalogue for 30 years. This workshop we're standing in right now was acquired by Bulgari in 2000, and it's where all the chiming watches of the brand are made today. This year at Geneva Watch Days, Bulgari releases 3 new chiming watches. The watchmakers that you can see behind me are working on them right now, and honestly, I can't wait to discover them and share them with you. Let's start with the Bulgari Octo Roma Grande Sonnerie Tourbillon. While the minute repeater will chime out the time when you activate a pusher or a lever on the side of the case, a Grande Sonnerie can be set to automatically chime at every hour and quarter hour. Of course, as is typical of most watches that have the Grande Sonnerie complication, the Bulgari Octo Roma Grande Sonnerie Tourbillon also includes the complications of petite sonnerie and minute repeater. Like a Grande Sonnerie, a petite sonnerie chimes every hour and quarter hour, but in a reduced format, with fewer gong strikes compared to a Grande Sonnerie. You switch between Grande and Petite Sonnerie modes by activating this pusher on the side of the case here, and you can also turn off the automatic chiming altogether with this pusher, which puts the timepiece on silent mode. In this mode, the watch only chimes when you activate the minute repeater. Let's have a listen to the Grande Sonnerie chime because there's something pretty special about it. See if you can figure out what it is before we get the answer from Bulgari sonnerie watchmaker John Sheridan.
The first thing you will have noticed is that there are 4 notes in the chime. And they're not the 4 notes that you might recognize from our original Grande Sonnerie piece, which is the famous Westminster chime. This melody has been created in collaboration with a Swiss orchestral conductor, Lorenzo Viotti, who's created something based on the musical concept of the Tritone. It's a dissonant musical interval that really makes the watch stand out. The challenge is really adapting the mechanism so that we can play this particular melody in a precise way that was composed by Lorenzo. And fortunately, we were able to overcome this challenge thanks to many years of experience, which we have in Bulgari in creating chiming watches.
Next up is the Bulgari Octo Roma Carillon Tourbillon. The Carillon Tourbillon has been one of my favorite Bulgari watchmaking references ever since it first appeared in 2011. Stupendously beautiful chiming tone to this minute repeater, and even though its melody has been adjusted to accommodate the tritone musical motif, I think you'll agree with me that it retains the same sublime tone that captivated everyone 13 years ago. It certainly has a galvanizing quality to it, to the extent that it actually influenced the concurrent development of the Octo Roma Grande Sonnerie Tourbillon. It's a rare glance into the process of creating high watchmaking complications, something that Fabrice Rochat from Bulgari's Movement Development Department can tell us all about.
In fact, when we started working with Lorenzo, he immediately came with this concept of the Tritone, which attracted us a lot. The Tritone is something very disruptive. It goes against the code of classical music, which is about harmony. Here at Bulgari, we like the idea of being different and having this audacity, and we started to think how to integrate this in a watch. Of course, we already have a carillon with 3 gongs in our catalog, so it was a natural choice. And when we heard it for the first time, the effect was quite unexpected. But of course, this was the intention. And now, as you can see, the Carillon Tourbillon will stay in your mind, especially in combination with this powerful Bulgari Octo Roma case design. Afterwards, an even more exciting idea came, the Grande Sonnerie. Why not expand this idea of disruption and bring it to the biggest and most prestigious complication in watchmaking? Who better do it but Bulgari? In this watch, not only did we bring a new melody, we brought a new construction. We were already working on this movement before, and the concept of imposing the new musical approach was perfect.
The final watch that we're bringing to you today is one that I'm sure you're already familiar with, the Octo Finissimo Minute Repeater Carbon. It may be small, but it's extremely powerful. And that appeals to me a lot for some reason. Bulgari first launched the record-setting Octo Finissimo Minute Repeater in 2016 with a titanium case, followed in 2018 by a version with a carbon fiber composite case. Titanium and carbon fiber were chosen for their strength, lightness, and rigidity, which are all important in an ultra-thin chiming watch. This year's model in carbon fiber has been updated with titanium case accents, and although Bulgari opted to go with a more conventional chime in this piece, we could argue that disruption is built into the very origins of this watch. When Bulgari first started creating these unprecedented, ultra-thin complicated timepieces, it shook the watch world. For those who hadn't previously understood the range of Bulgari's in-house capabilities, this new manifestation of expertise seemed almost Faustian, perhaps even diabolical. And as you'll see in just a few seconds, that brings us right back to the Octo Roma Grande Sonnerie Tourbillon and the Octo Roma Carillon Tourbillon. The use of the tritone in the new chiming watches from Bulgari is more than a way to set the brand apart. There is a deeper message in the chime. You just need to know how to listen for it. In classical music, another name for the tritone was the devil's interval, because vocalists, musicians would really struggle with it. It's so against our natural affinity for harmonic intervals. When you hear it, it gives this sense of restlessness. You feel the lack of completion. There's this tension there that demands resolution. Listen to the opening of Camille Saint-Saëns's Danse Macabre. It is thrilling and agitating at the same time. And in fact, this is what characterizes Bulgari fine watchmaking. It's disruptive, it's powerful, it's surprising. It makes you want more. And once you've heard these watches, the Octo Roma Grande Sonnerie Tourbillon, the Octo Roma Carillon Tourbillon, and of course the Octo Finissimo Minute Repeater Carbon, you'll have a hell of a time forgetting about them.